Assalamualaikum and good evening. Today, our group would like to present the topic, which is apply a production improvement method using work study to identify a standard time of a construction activity. Okay, I would like to introduce my group member. Okay, me is Raimi bin Mohamad Ramli, and my group member is Mohamad Haziq bin Amir. Okay, what is work study? Work study is a generic terms for the techniques of method study and works measurement. These techniques are used in the examination of human works in all its contexts. They lead systematically to the investigation of all the factors which affect the efficiency and economy at the workplace in order to effect improvement. Method study. What is method study? The method study methodology entails standardizing the equipment method and working circumstance, as well as educating the operator to adhere to the standard method. The goal is to eliminate needles process and approach the quickest and easiest means of conducting each necessary activity. The guiding principle of method study is that there is always a better way to accomplish a job, and its instruments are meant to help researcher find this better method of working in a methodical manner. The main goal of method study is to identify more efficient working practice. Objective of method study. One could argue that almost any task performed in a workplace could be the subject of an investigation aimed at enhancing how it is completed. A work study specialist would be burdened with an infinite workload, some of which will not be very productive if such a case were made. However, by concentrating on a few core tasks, a work study specialist can produce significant result in a short amount of time. Okay, this is a procedure of method study. There are a few steps of the process or basic process of method study. Okay, for the step one is evaluate. Step 2 is define, step 3 is examine, step 4 develop, step 5 install, step 6 maintain. Okay, the elaborate for this step which is step 1 evaluate, the piece of work to be examined and provide its criteria. Step 2 is define the essential information about the assignment and collect any additional data that may be needed from reliable sources. Step 3, examine how the task performed and raise issue regarding their intent, setting, and method of execution. Step 4 is develop the approach that relies on the contribution of all parties and it's the most realistic, economical, and effective. For step 5 is install. The new technique, think about the optimum moment to introduce, persuade everyone train user. Step 6 is maintain. Check often, compare outcome, and identify deviation. Okay, the scope of method study. There are three things should be taken into consideration when selecting the job, which is economic consideration. It is obviously a waste of time to start or to continue a long investigation if the economic importance of a job is small or it is on that is not expected to run for long. The second consideration is technical consideration. The ambition of management to purchase more cutting-edge technology, whether in equipment or process, is one of the crucial factor. In order to compromise office paperwork, the inventory system, or to automate production process, management may decide to do so. A technique study can highlight the enterprise top demand in this area before such as action are implemented. And the last consideration is human consideration. Workers frequently complain about specific operation. They make you tired or bored, or it can be difficult or dangerous to use. To us. The degree of pleasure staff to indicate the necessity of technique a study. As a result, a process the management may view as successful may, on the other hand, cause a considerable level of anger within the workforce. When such as part of a longer work study programmer operation and addressed by work study professional, allowing the workforce to better understand the advantages of work study. Okay, this is a record technique. The process is called flow process chart. Okay, for the flow process chart is divided to 6 steps. Okay, for the first step is operation. The second step is inspection. The third step is transportation. The fourth step is temporary storage or delay. The fifth step is permanent storage. The sixth step combined activity. A flowchart is a process diagram that presents a comprehensive view by sequentially listing just the primary operation and inspection. Each operation type is briefly noted next to the symbol. Only the primary operation and the inspection conducted are recorded in a flowchart. The sequence of operation, transportation, inspection, delay, and storage that take place during a process or produce are graphically represented in flow process chart, which also incorporate analysis relevant information like the amount of the time and distance traveled. Okay, the second technique is flow diagram. It shows a systemic schematic representation of flow and building which the location of all operation, much like in a flow process chart, and flow line that show the movement of worker or material. The visual design is helpful in enhancing the produce. For instance, in order to effectively decrease a distance before transportation, it's helpful to picture the location of the available area for a facilities, the flow diagram for the gear manufacturing activity. Okay, the third technique is string diagram. The string diagram is a scale drawing on which the length of a string thread is to record both the extent and the pattern of movement of a worker operating in constrained area the course of a specific amount of time, where the journey are so erratic in length and frequency. It is very vital to monitor what is taking place. Okay, I would like to pass my presentation to my group member, Encik Haziq.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Raimi. So I will continue about work measurement. So next, what is work measurement? So work measurement involves carefully examining a task, its scope, the technique employed to complete it, and its effectiveness. The goal is to ascertain the workload in a operation, the amount of time needed, and the numbers of employees required to do the work effective. Then third, work measurement provide a standard comparable methodology for identifying workers' capacity and aids in calculating the amount of time required to complete any task. Next, objective of work measurement. Measurement of work setting performance requirements that can only be certified if all available ineffective time is eliminated and work is complete using the best available way are two possible purposes. The first is to uncover the nature and degree of ineffective time from whatever cause. So next, produce of work measurement. The basic technique might be simply formula by separating out the component required for work measurement. So the first one, select. Second, record. Third, measure. Fourth, examine. Fifth, compile. Sixth, define. So about to select the work to be studied. Record all the relevant data relating to the circumstance in which the work is being done, the methods and the elements of activity in them. Measure each element in terms of time over a sufficient number of cycles of activity to ensure that representative picture has been obtained. So examine the recorded data and element times critically to ensure that unproductive or random elements are separate from productive elements. The records times of each element and determine a representative time for each. Compile time for the operation, which will provide a realistic standard of performance and will include time allowance to cover sustainable rest, personal needs, contingencies. And last, define precisely the series of activity and method of operation for which the time has been allowed and issue the time as standard for the activities and methods specified. So next, technique of work measurement. Investigating and eradicating ineffective time is the goal of work measurement. It doesn't more than just demonstrate the existence of waste time. The principal techniques of work measurement are classified under the following heads. For the one, time study. The most used method of measuring how long it takes to complete a task. It uses a decimal minutes stopwatch to record and calculate how long it takes its certified, well-trained individual operating normally to complete the task. The outcome of the time study is the amount of time needed to do the task in the stated manner by a person who is qualified for the position and has received all necessary training in the approach. Work sampling. A statistical sampling theory technique that involves randomly selecting times to observe the workers and noting the kind of activity that is seen at the moment. Work sampling is most frequently used to gather data for allowance calculating to map out the distribution of work tasks and to assess how productivity and inefficient personnel are used. Next. So introduction time study. So time study is a work measurement approach used to estimate how long its work take qualified, well-trained individual working at a typical speed to complete a given activity at a given level of performance. The resultant time is referred to as standard time. Before performing work measurement of or a time study, motion study projects are carried out. So next, produce of time study. The basic procedure for carrying out time study stepwise is so number one, study the position in the term of the working environment, equipment, operator. Then number two, compile or research all the method relates data, operation description. For example, device is operation into manageable parts, a decrease of component of a process that is chosen for the purpose of observation, measurement and analysis is known as an element. So number three, inspect each component to make sure the best techniques and motion are being applied. So number four, watch and time how long it takes the operator to complete each task. So number five, select the number of observation cycle that will be timed and then compute the time by averaging all the measurements, rate the performance of the operator. So number six, extend the observed period to fundamental times or normal time. So number seven, determine the allowance in to be provided over and above the basic time. So number 8, so number 9, establish the operation standard time. So this continue the real measurement can start after the aforementioned formal are complete. The fundamental tool for time studies are for number one, stopwatch. Number two, time study board. Number three, time study form or sheet. Number four, tachometer. Number five, motion picture camera and video equipment. So number six, electronic data collector and computer. So next, so the conclusion of what work study is the most working method to increase output to simplify production technique and as a basic for the eventual introduction of piecework rates. Work measurement used to determine the length of time each job are operating should take by an average workers. Determine the correct gang and plan balance and check on general efficiency. This result produce an improvement and high productivity which benefit the operative and employee financially. Thank you.